Well, hey everybody, welcome back to Cheap Brew. I'm Anthony. Today, we're gonna get started making a draft beer. This one is going to be a stout that's modeled after the Guinness, but we're gonna call it a Puyallup Stout because I got a recipe for it from John's Homebrewing Wine Supply in Puyallup, Washington. John made this recipe for me right at the counter while we were kind of discussing what I wanted to do with these videos. He made me a great recipe for a blonde ale that turned out really well, so I'm really excited to see how well this turns out. So stick around until the end of the video so you can see the tasting. To make this, we're gonna be using 1 pound of sparkling amber dry malt extract. That's gonna be our sugar source for the wort. In addition to the sparkling amber dry malt extract, we're also going to be steeping some grain this evening for a little bit of mouthfeel and a little bit more color. The breakdown in our grain bill is as follows. We've got 1.6 ounces of flaked barley, that's the stuff that looks like oats in there, 1.6 ounces of roasted barley, and 1.6 ounces of dark chocolate barley. As far as hops go, we're going to be using 6 grams of Centennial hops from the same batch as last time. That'll be a 60-minute addition at the very beginning of the boil, and that's it. And then finally, for our ale yeast, we're going to be using the Safe Ale 05 that we used for the blonde ale in the previous video. To get started, I'm going to take about 2 quarts of water and heat it up to 160 degrees. Once we reach 160 degrees, I'll pull the pot off of the burner and turn it off, and then we will steep the grains in a mesh bag for about 40 minutes. So I just started a timer for 40 minutes to steep these grains, and it's already starting to turn that nice stouty dark color, which is making me very, very happy. Once we get to the point where we have about 10 minutes or so left, I'm gonna heat up about 2 quarts of water to about 170 degrees so that we can rinse these grains and get all the color that we possibly can out of them. Once we're done with that, we're gonna add in our 1 pound of sparkling amber malt extract, and then we're gonna bring it up to do the wort boil. So we just finished our 40-minute steeping of the grains, and the color is magnificent. It's this beautiful dark brown color. The next step is we're gonna take that dark brown liquid and we're going to start to raise the heat. While that's heating up, we're gonna stir in our 1 pound of sparkling amber malt extract. Once that's all stirred in and dissolved, I'll raise the heat just a little bit to bring the pot to a boil. We'll throw in 6 grams of Centennial hops at the very beginning of our 60-minute boiling period. Let's get going. We're burning moonlight. So we just added our 60-minute hop addition to the wort as it came up to a boil. I had no problems getting it up to a boil. In fact, it was very ready and raring. I had to take it off the burner while I was moving the camera because I had the temperature set too high. That 60-minute hop addition was the only hop addition we were going to do for the beer. So we're gonna sit here and let the hops isomerize for that 60-minute boiling period for the wort. And once it's done, we'll add in a little bit of cold water to this to bring the temperature down after we take it off the burner, that is. And that'll bring us to our yeast pitching temperature, and the rest of the evening should go pretty smoothly overall. After 60 minutes, we've finished boiling the wort, and I've added in a little bit of water, about 2 quarts of cold water to drop the temperature from about 185 to 115. I'm going to continue to let it cool for a little while before I transfer it into the fermentation jug to take a gravity reading, because it's just a tiny bit too hot. I want it below 100 degrees when I move it over. Speaking of things that are cooling down, me. It is fucking cold in this garage. It's midnight in January, and this hat is helping me out tremendously. So it's gonna stick around for the rest of the brew day. So I'm gonna go check the temperature of that Wirt again and hope that it's cooled down to a point where I can move it to the jar. I'm not gonna use the thermometer to check. I'm gonna use my hands. Oh yes, it's cold. And by cold, I mean the air is cold. My hands are cold, but this is a beautiful hand warmer. I think this is a safe temperature to put in the jar. Once I'm done warming up my hands. This could be a while. So I've decided to do a water bath, not an ice bath, for the fermentation jar here. The temperature here is about 100. I only need a few degrees to come off for me to feel like the gravity reading is not going to require an excessive amount of math to compensate for the higher temperature and therefore the decrease in density. I just put some of that cold water that I had left over, the 2 quarts in here, and the water is already getting warm, so there is thermal exchange here. I'm gonna give it another 3 minutes or so, and then we're gonna get on with our evening because it's getting really freaking late. That's pretty warm. I'm satisfied. Let's take that gravity reading, shall we? So the result of the gravity reading was 1.050, about 6% potential alcohol by volume. Realistically, we're looking at about 4 to 5% because beers usually do not finish fermenting all the way to a 1.0. More like it's gonna finish out at a 1.1. So that'll be 4 to 5% ABV, which is perfect for our newly minted 1 gallon of Puyallup Draught beer. Beautiful stout color, look at that. Dark as Satan himself, and I cannot wait to see how this goes. I hope that I left enough room at the top of the fermenter so that it doesn't require a blow-off tube. The yeast is pitched and it is ready to go into fermentation now. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna stick it in the cupboard, and it's gonna start fermenting, and I'll check on it over the course of the first week here so we can get some cool shots of the yeast in action. And I imagine that after about 7 days, we're gonna be able to bottle it and try it before the beginning of February, even though I might wait until February just for grins, depends on my work schedule. Anyway, enough talking, I got tons of cleaning to do. I'm gonna go take this and put it away. It is now day 2 of fermentation, and as you could tell by the previously seen footage, we have a very, very dark, stouty color here, which is great for us because that's what we're trying to do, but at the same time, it's hard to see everything that's happening inside the jar, but I want to see what's going on inside the jar. So I'm going to get a little bit of light on the subject with my fancy flashlight. So as you can see now with the flashlight illuminating the jar, it is still fermenting quite ferociously. It's just concealed by the dark color of the wort. On the bright side, it's still happening, and I left enough room at the top of the jar so that we don't have a blowout out the airlock, which is awesome. The only thing left to do is to continue to let this ferment for a few more days. It is now day 11 of fermenting our Draught beer, and it was ready to go into the bottle at day 7. The reason I didn't put it into the bottle on day 7, however, was just a scheduling conflict. I had to go back to work, so we waited an extra 3 days for day 11, and tonight I'm gonna put it into the bottles before I go to bed. Before I do that though, I'm gonna take a gravity reading so I can figure out exactly how much alcohol we have by volume in our beer. So we have a final gravity of 1.014. I think that's gonna work out really nicely with this beer. That's gonna put it at 4.7%. And the only thing left to do with it really is to put it into the bottles. So what I've gone ahead and done is sanitized 9 bottle caps. I've also got sanitizing over there, a hose to hook up to this auto siphon and a bottling wand. That's gonna help us get the beer from here into the bottles without spilling any. I've also got another 1-gallon jar that I'm going to rack this into first. I gotta sanitize some bottles real quick after I rack this, but I think we're almost done for the evening. While I'm dumping out these beer bottles, I thought I would mention that in order to get the carbonation into the beer, I'm going to be using Mangrove Jack carbonation drops. Basically, it's just a little lozenge full of sugar that is going to add a charge of carbon dioxide when the yeast ferment the sugar that's in the droplet. And with the bottle covered with a bottle cap, that is going to make it so that we have carbonation in the bottles. And just like that, we've got 8 12-ounce bottles of Puyallup Draft Beer. I'm super excited about this one. I'm super excited about all of them, to be honest, but this one in particular, I've yet to make a stout that actually tasted good to me, so I think that this has a high potential to be the one. The one thing I am kind of nervous about though is when I opened the lid on day 7 and even today, there was like some wispy lines, hopefully not bacteria. It doesn't smell like it's spoiled and it's not growing anything fuzzy. I think it's just left over from the Krausen stuff that hasn't dropped out of suspension, but we'll see in 2 weeks when I pop open one of these and have a go at tasting it. Speaking of that 2 weeks, the bottles are about to go back into the box to spend that 2 weeks conditioning. I'm gonna go to bed because that's what I do here at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna catch up with y'all in 2 weeks when we have a little taste of our drop beer. But first, cleaning. It has been about 14 or 15 days, I kind of lost track, but either way, it doesn't matter how many days it's been because it's the day that we're going to try our Puyallup Draft Beer. I will say that the pour was very satisfying for letting it sit a few extra days. There's no apparent loss in its ability to carbonate itself, so pretty pleased about all that, and it had a pretty decent head, and overall it looks really nice. Sorry about my voice. I've kind of been sick the last few days or so, a little bit of laryngitis. You could just pretend that we're in a bar smoking cigarettes, which I don't do, but we're gonna finish off that cigarette with one little glass of Puyallup draft beer. So let's start with a smell test, shall we? That's really sweet. It's got that Guinness-y thing that we were going for. Very, very dark chocolatey. That is going to hopefully taste really good. Speaking of tasting, I don't know what I'm waiting for. Let's give this a shot. Well, we're 2 for 2. I did not expect this to have as much Guinness-y flavor as it has. My Lord. I don't know how that happened, but I am not sad that it happened. This is really good. Okay, so let's start unpacking the flavor. It does have that upfront kind of bitterness, but it's offset by the sweetness. Back to the bitterness though, like I said, it's still obviously there. My personal opinion is maybe just a tiny bit less, but it's not bad. It's really, really good. That dark chocolate flavor is not overwhelming, but you do get like kind of a bitter Guinness out of this. Could not have turned out much better. I will be hanging on to this recipe. That's good. Okay, well, another success in the books. We are on a roll lately. The next beer I'm gonna try to make is an amber beer, and this one's gonna be my own recipe that I've kind of been tweaking a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. The ingredients are sitting right at my bedside, actually, on top of the other 7 of these stouts and 4 of the blonde ales that I made. Speaking of that blonde ale, if you want to check out that video, I'm going to put that video right here. And if you like this one, make sure you like it. Leave me a comment about something you saw that maybe you would do differently or something that you liked. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you want to see how this hard apple cider turns out. Thanks once again for taking the time to watch this video. I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers.